Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
You have law enforcement and you have fire, and most cities require them, and most cities pay for them. And then EMS is the third leg, but they're kind of forgotten about as far as funding.
We've all heard the phrase, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And now some rural EMTs say you might be saying that about their ambulance services. Valley News Team's Veronica Marshall investigates the dire situation our rural EMTs are in and how it could impact you.
The first one I ever did was a snowmobile accident down on the river. And he would have died in another hour. He'd have been dead.
Dale Torgerson remembers the first time he saved a life as a volunteer EMT. And even after 35 years, he still loves helping out his community and those who pass through it. But now it's becoming difficult for Kindred's ambulance service and other rural EMS providers to stay open.
I could pick out 2 people. If they quit, it would be tough to keep the place open.
It's becoming harder and harder for ambulance services to sustain themselves with volunteer labor.
If you're going to go to full time, that would be a huge funding jump.
Because of a new state law, finding funding for some rural EMS services is getting even harder.
North Dakota's Rural EMS Assistance Grant used to give Kindred's ambulance service around $40,000 a year. Now, due to a change in the funding formula, Kindred, along with Castleton and Hunter, get nothing. And while they're still open, others haven't been so lucky.
In North Dakota, I believe in the last 10 years, we have 7 ambulance services that have closed, and 5 of those have been within the last 5 years.
On top of that, 5 others have changed their licensure levels from an ambulance service to a substation. And while closing those services could be devastating for their communities, even if you don't live there, you might feel it too.
Many people travel between Bismarck and Fargo, for example. You cover a lot of rural area between that space. A good example is Medina. They've been in the news lately as a service that's trying to recruit volunteers and making it known that they're having some concerns about their long-term sustainability. And they're about 30 miles from another ambulance service. And so if that service were to go away and there's a car accident on interstate, they could be waiting for quite a while for an ambulance.
So until reliable funding can be secured, Torgerson says rural services like his may not be around when you need them the most.
If we don't get the funding we probably should, and people don't think about it like they should, they just assume it's going to be there. And who knows, one day maybe it won't.
In Kindred, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
The North Dakota EMS Association says the state government appropriates around $6.8 million a biennium to help ambulance services, but it's not even close to enough to keep rural programs open. The association says one way communities can support their rural ambulance services is through mill levies or taxes. Today, an injunction was filed against a contractor based in Grand Forks that bans him from doing business in the state of North Dakota. Valley News Live first reported on Nicholas DeRozier and his businesses back in June when a homeowner accused him of taking payment for a construction project but never finishing the work. DeRozier owns Team Lawn and Vaughn Construction. Attorney General Wayne Stensham said DeRozier refused to cooperate with his office. They received numerous complaints from people in the Grand Forks area that he failed to start or complete work after getting paid. We warmed up pretty nicely today and even got some sunshine too. Let's check out this evening and your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Andrea, thanks so much. Yes, the sun felt very nice. The lack of wind also added to the equation. And as we take a look around the region, it might surprise you to see all the standing snow still on the ground from our big winter system over a week ago in the Devil's Lake Basin. Many other areas, though, starting to become free of snow. We do have a few clouds in the central Dakotas pushing into the valley this evening. That's going to be a benefit temperature-wise as we go through the overnight. Not as cold. We were in the low to mid-20s in many locations to start the day. Frosty for sure and a hard freeze. Temperatures are now peaking up in the mid-40s in Fargo. Your planner for this evening, light winds from the south, increasing clouds will push into the area, and temperatures will dip down into the mid-30s by bedtime tonight. Grand Forks, same thing goes, mid-30s, a few more clouds as we get into the later evening, with a south wind at 6.3 miles per hour.
All right. Nothing more to be said.
That's right.
Makes sense.
You bet.
The search continues for a man who robbed a woman at knife point in South Moorhead. It happened around 4 yesterday afternoon in the 1600 block of Belsley Boulevard. Police say the man stole the woman's property and ran off. She was not hurt. The knife believed to have been used in the robbery and her property were found later. The suspect is described as a young black man, possibly in his late teens or early 20s. He was wearing a black jacket with a red stripe, dark jeans, and dark shoes. You can call police if you know anything about the robbery. The Polk County Sheriff's Office is investigating the circumstances surrounding a body found in a lake. Authorities found the man face down in a lake just outside of Mentor, Minnesota. The victim is 69-year-old Stephen Svenningsson. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, authorities don't believe criminal activity is involved, but they are waiting for autopsy results. One man is facing several charges after an hours-long standoff with Jamestown police. Authorities were called to a domestic disturbance around 11 last night where the victim claimed 54-year-old Sean Tagatz was inside an apartment building, possibly armed, and had threatened to hurt the victim and himself. After evacuating the building, officials tried to talk with the suspect. Police tried to tase the suspect, but he wouldn't go down. Tagatz was eventually arrested and taken to jail. Burleigh County also has an active warrant out for his arrest. Around the same time as that standoff, Jamestown police also responded to reports of a man with a gun at a hotel in town. Someone reported that 3 men had threatened him with a gun at his hotel room, but by the time officers arrived, the suspects were gone. No other information is being released because it is still under investigation. The police department in Crookston is investigating a rash of burglaries and thefts in the city. Since the beginning of the month, 16 have been reported. The crimes include thefts from vehicles, sheds, garages, and even 2 homes were broken into. The thieves took power tools, electronics, money, gas, and other items. Some of the buildings and cars were locked, others were not. If you noticed anything suspicious in your neighborhood, you're urged to call police. Maryland Representative Elijah Cummings lies in state today at the U.S. Capitol, where he served for 23 years. The flag-draped casket carrying Cummings' remains arrived at the Capitol this morning. Family and friends and members of Congress were on hand to pay their respects to the congressman. Fellow Democrat and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called Cummings a master of the House who helped shape America's future.
Elijah was truly a master of the House. He respected its history, and in it, he helped shape America's future. I have called him our North Star, our guide to a better future for our children.
Cummings died last week at age 68 from complications related to long-standing health issues. His funeral will be held tomorrow in Baltimore. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton are scheduled to speak. Disturbing video coming in from our sister station, WVLT in Knoxville, Tennessee. Take a look at this. In the video, a student repeatedly punches another while children gather around and record it. Officials say the Knox County Sheriff's Office confirmed that an investigation is underway after this viral video surfaced. The video has drawn outrage on social media from parents across East Tennessee and beyond. Officials say charges are possible. A South Carolina deputy becomes an example of the dangers of distracted driving. The deputy was working the crosswalk at an elementary school when a driver plowed into her, tossing her into the air. The deputy had blue lights activated on her patrol car, and she was wearing a bright yellow reflective jacket when she was hit. The driver did not slow down before he hit the deputy. He admitted to police he was looking at his phone instead of the road. Officials say the deputy was treated and released from a hospital. Governor Doug Burgum officially announced today that he will be seeking re-election in 2020. In a video announcement posted on YouTube, Burgum highlights accomplishments since he took office 3 years ago. The 63-year-old Republican says North Dakota is headed in the right direction with increased employment and higher wages. Construction crews are on site along I-94 working on installing a new snow fence. The fence will go from Highway 336, exit 6 to 34th Street South. Officials with the city hope once installed, it will make that stretch of I-94 even safer.
Last year, we reduced the crashes from 40 down to 4. The goal is with this snow fence that we're putting in, it's going to help on this corridor with the traveling public and keep it flowing smoothly.
MnDOT says this snow fence will solve the almost 300 blowing snow problems in the district. These known problem areas were identified by MnDOT snowplow operators. West Fargo Police K-9 Macho will soon be a little safer on the job. The department will receive a bullet and stab protective vest for the dog, courtesy of the nonprofit Vested Interest in Canines. The German Shepherd joined the department in 2018. That year, police K-9s were dispatched more than 250 times in the metro. The department expects to have the vest in 8 to 10 weeks. The family of a young West Fargo boy who died from brain cancer has started a foundation in his name. Andrea and Travis Solberg say they want to channel their grief into something purposeful. You can read about Landon's journey, how to donate money, and check out future events that will support the foundation on our website. All you have to do is go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. And this reminder to join us this Saturday for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show. Coverage begins at 1 live from Brookings, South Dakota, with kickoff to follow at 2 between the Bison and the Jackrabbits on the KVLY and KFYR Bison Football Network.